Hey guys, I just want to jump on here, Fam Sports Patriots, to do this really quick. I'd like to point out that everybody is copying my drafts. I'm seeing them 2 days later, and seeing the TCU kid blow up after my draft or whatever. But they just announced who is going to be at the Combine, and as Patriot fans, I'm just going to give you a heads up who, if you guys are going to watch the Combine, who to kind of look out for. I think Jalen Milroe is going to be one to look out for, only because, not because we're going to draft him, but I think he could be one of those guys that might slip into that top 5, maybe even top 3. Another one would be, for some reason, everyone loves Riley Leonard. So he would be another one that to kind of keep your eye out for quarterback. Jackson Dart. Potentially, if we could get him in a later round, I could definitely see him as trade value later on, not to replace the man. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's always good to have that. We have that now. I think he went from a 5th round or a 4th round to we're probably going to be able to get a 2nd round for him. It worked with Garoppolo, it worked with all the other quarterbacks, and we're able to get assets if we're drafting right. And I think that's what we need to get back to as the Patriots. So keep an eye on those 2 guys for New England, because it could have kind of not major effects, but some effects on who falls and what we do. Running back wise, obviously everybody says we need a running back. I think Stevenson's going to have a decent year this year, and we have a decent running back room. I don't think we need to go out and get Genty. I don't think we need to do that. I've been against that. But if Ollie Gordon falls to the 3rd round, which I've seen in a couple drafts he has, it'd be kind of crazy if he did, but Ollie Gordon in the 3rd round is an absolute steal. Even late 2nd round, if we'd have to trade up a little bit, Ollie Gordon, absolute steal in the 3rd round. So keep an eye on how Ollie Gordon does, and Trevor Etienne. Trevor Etienne is what Travis Etienne is, a little bit less than Travis Etienne, but he's healthy. So you're going to get a lot of what Travis does, but Trevor's a little bit bigger and more of a bruiser back type that would fit New England really well. So he would be one to definitely keep your eye on as well. Jaden Blue, no. Trying to think here. Scattaboo. I think Cam is worth watching. I think his combine is going to be amazing. But I don't see us going. I think he's going to be in the top. I think he's going to be late 1st round. I really do, or early 2nd round. And he's just. I love Saquon, and I think they have revived the running back position, but I still wouldn't jump. Our needs are better served elsewhere, I guess. Wide receivers. This is what everybody's kind of looking at. I have said it. I've said it a million times. He's not going to be at the Combine. But some of the receivers that we could look for at the Combine that we've talked about is Jack Batch from TCU. He would be, I think, in my opinion, he's the next Edelman. And no, not because he's white. I'm just saying he can run routes. He's good about sneaking over the middle and not getting absolutely just crushed, And I think Drake May isn't going to do him dirty like Patrick Mahomes did with Rice and get him injured for the rest of the year. So I think he's one to watch. Isaiah Bond for Texas. I think this is a bad move on Bond's part. I think Bond he's a good receiver, but this can only hurt him. I don't know if him at the Combine is the greatest thing in the world to have, or for the world for him to do. But yeah, I would pay attention to him. I'd also pay attention to Jimmy Horn Jr. out of Colorado, Torrey Horton out of Colorado State, and Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. I've said this a lot. If you're able to get Noel in that 6th round, even 7th round, get him. And then the last guy is a TCU kid, Savoy Williams. He's another one that I would absolutely kind of pay attention to. There's going to be decent receivers through this draft. I'm really surprised. I thought this draft was going to be not very receiver heavy, but I think there's going to be 4 or 5 that are going to turn heads in the NFL. This is awesome. So Bringstool and a lot of these guys, tight ends, we're moving to tight ends. tight ends showed up during the Senior Bowl. That's basically all a lot of these guys talked about were the tight ends, and a lot of them are going to pay attention to Brinkstool. I think he could potentially be a second round guy. Some guys have him going first round. I don't see it. And another one would be Ferguson out of Oregon, absolute monster. So Ferguson out of Oregon and Brinkstool for the tight ends. Offensive linemen. This is what I've been saying all year. Offensive linemen are deep. So I think Calvin Banks Jr. out of Texas, absolute stud. So Calvin Banks, I think we go with him. If we can get him at a decent, Will Campbell's going to be in the combine. This just tells me that Will Campbell's camp is not comfortable where he's at. Like, this guy is supposed to be like potentially top 10. Will Campbell, I think he's seeing his stock drop, and I think he's going to use the combine to kind of bump up his stock. Another one, Fairchild out of Georgia, Frazier out of LSU, Jake Majors out of Texas. He's a center, but I think he can play that guard position. So pay attention to what he's doing in the combine, because that might be something that we potentially go and get. Is one of those guys. They absolutely love. Vrabel is I shouldn't say exactly like Belichick, but he's very versatile with the players and the offensive linemen. So the more versatile the offensive linemen are, the more likely we are to draft him. That's why I don't see us taking Will Campbell. I just don't. He's not versatile. But I know I've been wrong before. Not very often, but I've been wrong before. Another one that I would pay attention to is Jalen Travis out of Iowa State. He's going to have a very good combine. And Gray Zabel, he needs it. His senior bowl was not good. A guy out of North Dakota, I've been saying he's going to be a great offensive lineman. The Senior Bowl did him no favors. He needs to have an absolute amazing combine to kind of help him with that defensive lineman. We got to shore up the interior, and Howard Cross, we could get him late, and I'm telling you, as a Notre Dame fan, I've watched this guy. This guy is very, very good, and he's quiet good, and he's not going to cost you a lot. And I have seen us go out and take James Pierce Jr. This is scary. James Pierce Jr., the last draft I did, I do drafts like every other day, every day, but the James Pierce Jr., these last couple drafts I did, have him falling to the Eagles. If he goes to the Eagles, it's over. Like, the Eagles are repeating. Like, that defense is going to be the best defense to ever play over Tampa ever. I'm just telling, like, that four-man rush got significantly better if they can get James Pierce Jr. I do like the fact that he's going to the combine. I think because he's seeing him kind of fall a little bit, you're going to see him hopefully jump into those 20s and not fall to the Eagles. I hope to gosh he does not fall to the Eagles. And then Rutger out of North Carolina. I would pay attention to him as well. Let me think. I think that's about it for me. Riley Mills out of Notre Dame would be another one. Cam Jackson out of Florida. And Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Another one to kind of pay attention to. Ethan Downs. Abdul Carter, he's going, but I don't think he's going to do everything. He can only hurt himself at the combine. I don't think he's going to do that. So I would say Abdul Carter, he's going to be there, but he's probably not going to participate in all the events. Linebacker, Campbell out of Alabama. Pay attention to him. He fits our scheme very, very well. Buchanan out of Cal, and then Jack Kaiser out of Notre Dame. And then Kobe King, we'll get him late. He's one of those 7th round guys out of Penn State. Maybe not 7th. Maybe he could probably go as early as 5. But he's another one that you could probably watch. He'd fit our scheme really well. And that's it for, in my opinion, Jalen Walker out of Georgia, if you can grab him. But these are just guys that I would pay attention to in the draft, and then you might be buying their jersey after the draft. But yeah, pay attention to them in the combine. Defensive backs, we always are in need of defensive backs. You need that lockdown corner. Travis Hunter, stay away from him. He's gonna get absolutely destroyed in the NFL. He hasn't seen the competition. He played at Jacksonville State and played at Colorado. Come on, guys. Like, I get it. But why? Like, I think the Heisman. I like watching him. He's a fun player to watch, but he has not seen the competition in the SEC, ACC, Big Ten. Like, come on, man. Like he hasn't seen, and when he's been up against those guys, he's gotten absolutely destroyed. He's been worked. So I just don't think he's going to transition well. I don't. Especially top 5. No way. Jalen Smith out of USC, Malachi Starks out of Georgia, and Justin Wally out of Minnesota. Xavier Watts, I've been saying that forever. I love Xavier Watts. Xavier Watts does not get the credit he deserves on the Notre Dame defense. Watch him, and you guys will absolutely agree with me. I can promise you. Specialists, we're pretty good. I don't want to get anywhere else with anything, so I'm going to leave the specialists alone. Tyler Loop out of Arizona. Just a shout out to him because he's had a heck of a career. So thank you guys for watching Fam Sports New England. Those are the guys to pay attention to. Please like and subscribe and pay attention to them in the combine and see where their draft stock goes. Thanks, guys.